This is Palm Beach Live, Work, Play. I'm Tim Bird, the Birdman, and today we're at the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office again with Sheriff Rick Bradshaw. And Sheriff Bradshaw, we've talked about what a big job it is that you have and how much you have to be concerned with protecting. And today we're going to talk about the budget. And, we sort of laid the groundwork for that by covering some of the things that I wasn't aware of. And I know our listeners and viewers and people who look at palmbeachliveworkandplay.com didn't realize that you were responsible for all that. So I'm just going to ask you to explain the budget process and what you're up against and what you need money for. Explain the whole process, if you would, please.
Well, it's a very, very difficult process in today's environment because economic times are bad. People have to pay taxes. They believe taxes are high, and rightfully so. So it's our job to make sure that our budget is as lean as we can possibly make it, yet maintain the level of service to the people out there in the community. So that's a big challenge right now, especially with the enormity of the things that we do that we talked about. Sure. The biggest misconception is how big the budget actually is, because when you hear the number of $468 million, everybody takes a big, gasp of breath and goes, "Oh my gosh, that's huge." And the county kind of portrays it as, their budget's so big because the sheriff's budget is so big. When in actuality, it's very artificially inflated. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Okay. If you take out the items that are reimbursed from us, in other words, the $47 million worth of municipal contracts, I get reimbursed for that. That's actually comes out to be a zero, but it still is in that $468 million. Right. If you take out items like the off-duty jobs that the deputies go to, we get reimbursed for that, okay? But the big-ticket items are things that I am not really mandated to do by the Constitution of the state and the state laws. Number one is the jail. The jail is huge. It's $140 million a year. It actually says in the state statutes that the county is supposed to own and operate the jails and build them, right? They've decided to put it into my budget and tell me to run it, which is I'm all right with that. Yeah. But don't on one hand say my budget's so big when in actuality some of that is actually your responsibility that you've put into my budget. Right. The second is school crossing guards. That's about $8 million a year. That's a county function that's in my budget. Courthouse security. Now, not in the courtrooms with the judges, but the security of the courthouse is actually a county function. Right. That's about $9 million that's in my budget. All right? The regional crime lab. Same type of situation. That's about $7 million.
Now that is an especially, of course, all these things are important, but crime lab, when you're trying to solve things and eliminate the bad guy and bad activities, is very important.
Well, actually, all of these things are important.
Yeah,
that's especially important because that's really how you solve crime today, through DNA and fingerprints and crime scene investigation. So those are big ticket items. Also, if you take out the revenue that I generate to the county, because that comes off the total budget down to a net budget. Yeah. If you add all those things up, my budget goes down to $238 million. A significant drop from this big number that you see up here.
I was going to say that's right around half, generally speaking. Is that or less?
So my budget ends up being 25% of what the county's budget is, not really 50%. So that's a big misconception.
So, but because, as you said earlier, they've designated the responsibility to you, and they could have created a whole, another level of bureaucracy if they wanted to, but they actually were smart because you run things well and you run things efficiently, and that's fine, but the mass audience and population doesn't understand that you've been given that responsibility and that you have to fulfill that in part of the responsibility according to the Constitution of the state.
Right. And I don't have any problem doing that. We run a very efficient jail, and all those other operations we do very well at. Yeah. Just don't say on one hand I'm the problem with the total budget when in fact a lot of that is your responsibility that you've put into my budget. Now, having said all that, we've done a tremendous amount of things to lower our cost to the public. We've streamlined the top of the organization. I went from 6 colonels down to 2. I don't have an undersheriff. We eliminate some captain spots. So the top of the organization is not so wide, it's more pointed, which is very good because 85% of your budget's personnel costs. We haven't given the employees any cost of living raise in 3 years. All right, so that keeps the payroll down. We've done a lot with our contracts, the health contract to the employees, the food service in the jail. You got to remember, we serve 9,000 meals a day. So
Yeah.
every time we can reduce the cost per meal, that's a savings.
So some of the things you've mentioned to me already have shown that you're dealing with real hardcore reality because you've made some cuts that needed to be made, and it's not like you're just wanting to maintain that fat budget. You've done some cutting, and so that's positive. So how do we get the message to everybody to explain what this, other than this is one aspect for sure, but if somebody said, well, gee, where is there a website, or where can I find out about the reality of what the sheriff's budget is and what it's all about?
Yeah, well, you can go to our website. We're constantly evolving with that. We've redesigned it. We've made it more friendly. There's a lot of apps on there that you can get involved in. There's a lot of other different things that you can do. So that's a good place to start. But, be involved. Look what's going on. Go to the budget hearings if you want to, because we'll go in on the 13th of June and explain everything that we're doing, how we're doing it. But the bottom line is, it's a big operation. We're going to handle over 1 million calls for service this year. And we're trying to do the best we can do. But at the end of the day, what the public is buying for the money that they're paying with their taxes is a sheriff's office that's done more with gangs than anybody in the state, a sheriff's office that's done more with the pill mills than anybody else in the state, a sheriff's office that is the leader of Homeland Security in South Florida. We do more than any other sheriff's office does in this state with those things. And that's what their taxes are buying them, that they're paying, is very good quality law enforcement.
So I'm going to try to minimize this. So without the things that were mandated to this department, and you were happy to take on, without those, the budget is half or less than what the actual amount, and all those other things you factored in earlier as well.
Yeah, it just makes it artificially inflated, which, again, I'm okay with, but you can't have it both ways. You can't say, I'm the problem that's making the county's budget so high, and in actuality, you're making me so high because some of that responsibility is yours.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, that is something that the public needs to be made aware of. We're happy to help get that word out, and we wish you the very best with that, and of course, in all future days and years ahead as well, because I know it's a tough road, and these are tough economic times, and my hat's off to you for running things as well and efficiently as you do. And we appreciate that. I just hope the public, and we're doing our best to help get the word out, can understand the reality of the numbers.
Yeah, I just want them, the people that are watching, to understand, what, we're doing the absolute best we can to keep our cost to you down. But at the same time, we're providing you with the best possible law enforcement that we can to keep you safe.
And there's no doubt in my mind that the right thing will be done, because Palm Beach County is a world-class destination. And you're a major key in keeping it that way.
Well, like you say, you want everybody to come here to work, live, and play and be happy.
That's right.
Well, in order to do that, you have to have a safe environment to do that in, and that's what we want to provide.
That's right. Sheriff Rick Bradshaw, thank you so much for your time. All the best with that, and if there's anything we can do, you can call on us. I'm Tim Bird, the Birdman. This is Palm Beach Live, Work, Play. And, these are interesting times. Challenges are here, but we're ready for the challenges as well. We'll keep it a world-class destination.